Hi guys, sorry I can't be there with you today, but I'm going to explain a little bit about Aristotle before you do your annotations. So you've just heard a bit about justice in the reading, Catechism 1807. That tells us that justice is a virtue, so the Catholic Church is following Aristotle there and talking about justice as a virtue. Interestingly enough, justice gets split into two sections: justice toward God, that's religion, and then justice towards other human beings, and we just normally call that justice. So we'll get back to that when we look at Catholic social teaching a bit, but it sets us up for what Aristotle's doing. So we are going to be looking at Aristotle's Politics today, and the Politics is really part of a set. So Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics is the first book, and the Politics is the second book. We read a little bit of the Nicomachean Ethics last semester when we talked about friendship, so you might remember that a bit. In the slide you're looking at right now, we've got Aristotle teaching Alexander the Great, right? So he's giving the same lesson that we're going to do today. So you'll be able to conquer the known world in the next 10 years, just as Alexander did after studying with Aristotle. I have complete confidence in all of you. Okay, so like I said, the ethics and the politics go together, and Aristotle's idea was that he was teaching ethics to people who were going to be politicians, people who would be able to put legislation into effect to make people better, and that would determine right and wrong, help people determine what is right, what is wrong, what is good, and what is bad. And so he starts off the Nicomachean Ethics with this line up here. It's the very first line in the Ethics, telling us that everything that we do, right, every art or science, and every inquiry, methodos, every action, every choice we make, all aim at some good. And so you might think that, any particular action aims at some good. You came to school today because you thought it was good, maybe just good because you didn't want an absence, right? But you thought it was good to come to school. So if every action aims at some good, nothing aims at any bad, you don't ever decide to do something that you think only has bad consequences. Even if you do something that's bad for you, you think it's good for someone else. So everything you do aims at some good. You might think that all of your actions aim at some overarching good for your entire life. This is actually what we did last semester. We talked about this. That's what a true man is, right? It's the kind of man you want to be, what you think would be good to do with your life. So you might think that all of these aim at some higher good, and then a really important question is, how do you get to that good, right? Now, of course, you're not going to get to that good unless you know about it, or at least it's very unlikely. So if there is some overarching good that our lives aim for, or that our lives should aim for if we want them to be good lives, then it's really good to know about it. If not, then we're like an archer who is just firing blindly, doesn't know where the target is. He's not very likely to hit the bullseye. But if you know what the good is, then you can better aim at it. Again, that's what we did last semester. You tried to figure out what kind of good you want to aim at in your life, what a true man is for you, and how you're going to get there, right? That's the aiming part. So, Aristotle starts off the Nicomachean Ethics this way, in anticipation of the Politics, because he thinks that the people who run a state or a government, a political community, ought to be able to know what the good is in life, and then they can help the people in the community get there. So the first reading that you're going to be annotating today, the first 2 pages, is from towards the beginning of the Politics, where Aristotle is asking the question, what is a state? Or what is a political community? He doesn't mean a state like California, right? He's thinking of a city-state. But we can think of it as any state, any nation, right? Any kind of self-sufficient community that's, a community that's large enough to take care of its own needs. That's what he's going to get to. So think about that as you go through the first 2 pages. Now, on the 3rd page is another reading from the Politics. It's from a bit later in the Politics, and it is about justice. So you can see the 2 parts of the reading today really get at what this class is about. Social justice. So the first 2 pages on social, what is a society? What is a society, a political society in particular? And then the 3rd page, what is justice? We haven't defined that yet. So here's where we're getting at what justice is. So you had a little bit of that in the Catechism reading, and now you've got Aristotle. So here's the first line of the reading that you're going to look at. This translation's a little bit different, but that's okay. Let me just go over this really briefly because it can be really confusing without any context. So, Aristotle says that justice is equality. Not for everyone, though. Justice is equality for equals. And justice is also inequality. Not for everyone, but justice is inequality for unequals. So, what the heck does that mean, right? So, the idea is that we can be equal and unequal in lots of different ways. So we're all equal insofar as we're human beings, right? So Locke had this idea. We saw this idea in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, from the UN. The idea that insofar as we're all equally human beings, we should be treated equally in a lot of different ways, right? But we're also unequal in a lot of ways. It would be wrong to treat us all as equally wealthy, for example. If, we thought that everyone had plenty of money, then it wouldn't matter how much we charged for fresh water. But not everyone is equally wealthy, so it does matter, right? We shouldn't treat everyone as being able to afford, really expensive fresh water. Thinking about bail as a social justice issue, you might think that setting the same bail for the same crime sounds like a good idea, but should we also take into account someone's wealth? If one person is a lot wealthier than another, then he or she's going to be able to afford a lot higher bail. The smaller bail won't really be much of a problem for that person, but a really poor person will have a lot of trouble with that bail. So should bail take your wealth into account, right? If you're equally wealthy, then for the same crime you should have the same bail. But if you're not equally wealthy, maybe you shouldn't, right? So this is what Aristotle is getting at, that justice has an aspect of equality, right? We should treat people equally in the ways that they are equal, but we should, right? That we ought to treat people unequally when they are unequal. And here's an image that might help you think of this, right? So treating everyone equally is what you've got on the left there, right? We're treating everyone equally. We're giving everyone the same box to stand on, right? But those people are not equal to begin with. So the box doesn't help the little kid on the right, and the guy on the left doesn't need it, right? So the picture on the right that's labeled equity treats unequals unequally, and it actually ends up in a fairer distribution, a more just distribution of resources, because it treats unequal people as unequal rather than pretending that they are equal.